Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and yes, we are back on Project Cooper S. So a lot of you have been messaging and also wondering what the hell is wrong with it, just as much as me. So hopefully within this video we'll have actually figured it out and fixed the problem, because the thing is, I've ordered a load of parts through which I will show you shortly. Only one of them has come, unfortunately, which is the timing chain, so I can't really do a huge amount, but I will say I have done a few things without recording, so I do apologize. Let me show you what I've done so far. So far guys, I've actually ripped the cat off because it gives me a lot more room, because what I am going to do is I need to take the sump off at some point, because I need to get to the actual chain that does the fuel pump, which is obviously in here. Obviously split everything else off here. I've taken off loads of different pipes because this is very bare in here at the moment, and so that's pretty much it so far. It doesn't look like a lot, but also this is the best thing guys, we also might need not to remove the engine, because if you see how much room I've actually got here guys, I might actually be able to get away with not removing the engine. So fingers crossed that is the case. However, I have got my engine crane that is in the garage, so just in case I do need to remove it, which parts of me are tempted, but at the same time, if I don't need to, what's the point? So as long as I need to remove this, which is the engine mount on the driver's side, it gives me a lot more room in here to obviously be able to do the chain, gets to be able to actually do the driving belt, which is absolutely perfect. And to be fair, like I say, how much room I've actually got to play with guys, I might not need to do it. So hopefully, like I say, hoping to God that this isn't one of the culprits, because this is actually the high pressure fuel pump, and they are not cheap. But one of the other reasons guys is that is sat there is because what is going to go here is hopefully going to be a sports cat, because at the end of the day, while I've got it off, I might as well change it for something better. And the reason I'm going for the sports cat is because I want to actually remap the car. So if I can actually put a sports cat on, it keeps it legal for one, and obviously it gives it more power. Because at the end of the day, I know there's you can put a decat on it and things like that, but I want to obviously make this very easy to put through MOTs, and it's not going to fail or anything like that. Plus, I don't fancy having to take the decat off and then put the cat back on. So I want to stay as legal as possibly can with it, and obviously get as much power as possibly can. So from what I have done, the research I've done, sorry, is I can probably get a stage 2 remap with a 200 cell sports cat and an air filter and a front mount intercooler. So yes, maybe we might have a front mount intercooler going on as well. So stay tuned for that as well. That is going to be the plan. But like I say, the biggest thing at the moment is making sure this thing runs properly. So guys, it is another day. So the reason being is because now I've got all the bits to do the timing chain. So let's see what we got. So we've got engine oil, Quantum, which, so I know because I've used it before, it's very close to Castrol. We've got the sump gasket here. We got the cam timing chain here and all the bits that go with it. We have got the oil pump timing chain all in here, which comes with another crank bolt, which this one's got as well. 27 socket that I had to purchase because the oh, if you can get it out, the cam tensioner, chain tensioner, where are you? You were here somewhere. This one is 27 mil, and I don't have one, so I had to get one of them. Let's hope I haven't broke that. Nope, we're all good. Thank God. Rocker cover gasket, and while I'm taking it off, I might as well put a new alternator belt on. Cat, obviously that's probably going to come off. This is another one guys that we really need, because on the camshaft we have to do torque setting, and we have to do some angle setting as well. So I think it's like something like 28 Newton meters, for example, and then 90 degrees or 180 degrees. So we've got the kit here to lock the cams in place and the crank. Some thread lock, that's going to be for when we put this gasket back on the rocker cover. It's always worth doing that. Clips for the wings. This one's for the exhaust crank. I've got the actual main, the Vanox one in here, which I purchased. And while we're doing it as well, new crank seal as well. So all this hopefully is going on within this video, so stay tuned guys. So the first thing I've got to do guys is I'm going to have to take the rocker cover off, and once I've done the rocker cover, it'll be doing the timing to see obviously if it has shot a couple of teeth, and that's what a lot of people are thinking is the problem with this car, is it's the chain is actually shot over a couple of teeth on the crank, hence why it's only running on 3 and 4. So fingers crossed that is the case, so let's find out. To remove the rocker cover, the first thing you need to do is disconnect the wiring harness and move to one side. These are connected to the 4 coil packs as well as one of the lambda sensors. You want to then remove the 4 coil packs, and then you can start working on the 13 10mm bolts. You'll notice at the end that 2 on the right side of these bolts are longer than the rest. Just remember this when you're ready to reinstall. You will then want to remove all 4 spark plugs. This is to make it easier to crank the engine round by hand, so you can slot the tool into the engine to lock the crank. So now we've got the rocker cover off, guys. It does look pretty clean in here. You can see there is some moisture because these are prone, if they're not run for a long time or what have you, moisture can build up in here, and you can see it even here, look. But at the bottom, oh, actually, that's close to, oh yeah, just literally spotted it, look. So this is how you can tell, oh hang on, I'm looking at the wrong bit, I'm not, where was it? There. So you see here, you got the part number, okay? So the part number there, if you look at this one, the part number doesn't line up. So that is already telling me straight away that the timing is majorly out, because if you see here, so my timing tool needs to slot against these 2 bits here. It will literally slot through there. And this one is pretty much on top. That one definitely is not. So the timing is majorly out. So that's good to know. That'll probably be the reason why this is running like a bag of shit. Right, let's get started. So guys, on another bit of inspection, for people who do know about minis in these timing chains, what is meant to be here? There's a guard that goes across this bit right here, and it is not there. So I bet you any money it has gone down there. So it is a good thing that I am pulling the sump anyway, because I'm doing the other chain. So, all right, okay, here we go. So guys, the first thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the crank in. The thing is, there's 3 ways I thought about how I'm going to do this. So I can either, it's either the exhaust cam is correct and the inlet's wrong, and I need to move that accordingly, or it's the other way around, or put the crank pin, which is this tool, in place, so that will actually have the pistons in time, and then have to manually move the cams accordingly. And I thought that would be the case, and I've just confirmed it is. So as long as I get this tool in first, that means the pistons are in line, which is perfect, that's what I want. And then I just need to move manually both cams into position, because the way it works is, as soon as you see the writing, so that lines up on top, that means the cams are in position and in time. So that's what I need to do now, so I need to fit this. So now I've got the crank bolt out, guys. I'm going to then, so I've got to get the oil out. I'm going to change the oil anyway, but I'm going to have to take the sump off, because I've got to see how much, I've got to drain it because of that plastic guide is falling in here. Hopefully it's falling in here, but I've got to take it off anyway, because I've got to take the oil pump chain off, which is here. But I've got to remove the sprocket, so I've got to take it off anyway. Where the crank bolt pin goes to lock the crank, it's on the gearbox, And it's literally, I'll show you, it's the top one. There's like 3 hidden holes, maybe you can see it. So there's 3 hidden holes, and it's the top one out of the lot. Didn't want to do that. Never mind. That's the worst thing that's going to happen. I don't mind. Oh my. So guys, take a look at this. Look at all that shit at the bottom. That is all that plastic thing I told you about. Bear with. So this was all that plastic thing I was telling you about. Oh my god, look at it. Absolutely battered to shit. And guess what? This piece here, that was actually stuck in the oil pump. So if you look at that size there, get out of the way. So, don't know if you can see, just in here, I can still feel more actually. There's stuff in there. So it's time for a bit of a clean. So guys, I've just spent the last hour, probably hour and a half, I reckon, cleaning the bottom of the sump. So as you probably saw earlier on, that is all the shit from the plastic from the inside of where the cam chain tensioner and everything else has just battered it to crap. So that's the good part. The bad part, well, I'm not going to say bad part because I've got my way around it. So thanks to the cracker tools you get on Christmas, the actual inside the actual oil pump itself was all this that was lodged inside. Somehow, I don't know how, it's got through a hole like that and it has basically sucked itself through and inside there. And all this crap you can see here, all these little bits, I've just fished out with, just add it, with this. Out of the, luckily the mesh that's inside the oil pump has stopped that from going inside. That and my little finger spending an hour with this and my little finger getting that crap out, I've managed to save the oil pump. So now we know why this car's been running like a bag of shit. So I'm glad I've stripped the pump, and I'm going to put a new chain on it now. So I think the hardest work's been done. So yeah, now we've got to do the chains. So just another quick one, guys. I've just literally taken the cover off, which is this little piece here, off of this. Look how much slack is on this. Massive amount of slack. And also, I'm pulling loads of stuff out the bottom of here as well. So this is the metal guide, which I don't think I'm going to be able to get off right now. Oh, no. Jesus, look at that. I think I've just got this in time. I reckon if I'd left it any longer, I reckon this would have been, this engine probably been butchered. So guys, that is what I've just pulled out from behind that pulley. Wow, well, sprocket. Just another quick one, guys. This is everything that was in the sump. All that, all this shit. This is the point where everything turned to shit in that sump. Like I say, I'm praying to God that I managed to be okay. Hey guys, so we've come to a dead stop, unfortunately. After going through all that crap that was at the bottom of the sump, I thought I didn't have to take the engine out, but I've now realised I'm going to have to take the engine out because I've literally found that. For you that don't know what that is, this is the end piece for an oil jet that goes into the cylinder. So even if I'm glad I noticed it, because if I hadn't have done, I'd have put this back together and one of the cylinders would have run dry and probably put a piston through the block. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to rip the engine out, which I don't know how to do, but hey, learning curve, like always. So what I'm gonna do now, guys, is I'm gonna put the sprocket back on that oil pump because it needs to be on there anyway. So doing it now, knowing that the new one's on, I can just easily do the chain obviously when it's off, so it makes it a lot more easier with it being on. And I'm literally going to put the sump back on because I'm going to need it for a short time on, because I'm going to need to put a bit of wood underneath for my jack to keep it level, and I'm just going to have to find a way and figure out how I'm going to take this off. So yeah, wish us luck. So guys, we have the engine out now. I didn't record it because it had gone on way too long, and I got to admit it was an absolute mission getting it out. I had to watch quite a few YouTube videos to see how you actually do get it out, and yeah, so the other issue I had was, as stupid me, I decided to put the car on my stones on the driveway, and as you can imagine, trying to lift an engine out on stones with this, the whole thing just sunk. So after a lot of jiggery pokery, a lot of blood, sweat and tears, and a lot of swearing, we got her out and she's now in here. The issue we've got, so let's just say, yeah, the engine's in here, the gearbox is over there, so I've had to split it. The problem I am at the moment, which has got me on dead stop, is I've now got an engine stand, which is just behind me, but I can't put it on because the bracket that goes on to where the flywheel goes, the actual sort of like brackets to hold on from the engine stand to the engine, they're too short. So I've had to go to an engineering company local, and they're going to cut them off, re-weld longer poles on there to be able to attach, because it's the flywheel that's in the way, because I need the flywheel on to be able to do what I need to do, because obviously, as you know, the flywheel locks the crank. So I'm modifying my stand to make it work with this. And then once I've done that, I'll be able to do 360 of the whole engine and be able to do everything I need to do. At the same time, because of the fact of I've got to rip everything apart to get to the oil jet, I've now decided to do a half rebuild really of the engine. So I'm going to do the big end bearings and the bearings that go onto the crank, because while I'm there I might as well do them, it makes sense. At the same time, I might have to even pull the pistons out, because I don't know how much damage is done to the bore that has missed, where the oil jet has broken, and I'm hoping it's not scored the bore. So I might have to take the head off. If I take the head off, I might have to push the piston out. If I push the piston out, I might as well change the rings. So it's kind of like an endless thing of how far you have to go with it. But either way, it's a project, that's what I wanted, and it's making content for you guys. And by the end of it, this engine is going to be absolutely smashing. And so I'm not going to have to worry about it. But what I would recommend, guys, if you have got the N14 engine, or even the N18, I'm not too sure about the N18, but the N14 especially, if you haven't done a chain, get your chain done. And if you've done quite a few miles in it since you have done the chain, change it again, because I think these chains are going to be a bit like cam belts with this engine, and every sort of 50-60,000 miles I'd recommend to probably change it, because from the videos I've seen on YouTube, people have had multiple chains on their engine, so I'd recommend to do that. Sorry, I am waffling on. That unfortunately does bring us to the end of this video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. Please put some comments down below of what you thought, but I think a lot of people have commented and said it's the timing out which caused a lot of this problem. You're absolutely right, I think that is what's done it, but obviously it's affected a lot of other things. So yeah, but also guys, do us a massive favour, please hit like, please hit subscribe to keep up with more future content, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. I am waffling on, I do apologise, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. Take care, stay safe, I'll see you later. Ta-da.